In the fabled land of Northern California, nestled in the Valley of Sacramento, two friends begin a journey to enlighten the world about their experience living life as a Xennial. But what is a Xennial, you may ask? If you wish to know, then follow them on their adventures.
Welcome to the Xennial Chronicles. This is James.
This is Mike.
And, this is our first podcast of the year, isn't it, sir?
It is our first podcast of the new year of 2021.
And, for all those people that were hoping 2021 would be better or different, the clock would suddenly turn and everything would be peachy and clean. Not quite.
So
things
much.
Got a little...
Things
got a little crazy. We've had insanity here in this country for the last 2 weeks. It's just nutsin'. But, crazy things, I guess, are bound to happen after the year that we had in 2020. And
we can't just let it go.
We're like, no, we need to
stop right out of nowhere. It's gonna have to take its time to taper down, but that's not what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna say it would be great if it was doing the whole tapering down thing, but it's like, oh, you thought 2020 was bad? Let me show you what we can do in the first 2 weeks, people. Let's it's like 2021 looked at 2020 and said, hold my beer, because sorry.
Yeah.
Hold my twisted tea. Literally, that's what we're looking at here. And of course, that's that. And then of course, the impending new year and the after Christmas that kind of had us not do an episode for 2 weeks. So it's been a while since you've been able to hear from us. I'm sorry. It's just, one, we had the fallout from Christmas, and I do have children. So Christmas is stressful and time consuming And then last week, it was just insanity. So it was better just to take some time off. We're addressing the fact that yes, there's crazy going on. However, I think we're far enough removed from the exact crazy thing happening, and while there are wheels turning for things to try to do that crazy thing, we're still going to try to have a fun, somewhat lighthearted conversation today, right? That's the purpose.
Yeah, it's all about having a good time today, man. That's what it's about for me, at least, and I know that's about it for you too.
I get you on that. I do have an update because I did talk about it here on the podcast before Christmas. My wife was exceptionally surprised with her big Christmas gift this year, and I can officially say what it is, even though I basically kind of said it already. She did get a Nintendo Switch this year.
Dang.
And it's been she's been on and off glued to it throughout the last weeks, which is exactly what I wanted to have happen. Speaking of which, she needs to get in touch with she can do whatever friend connection is necessary for the Stardew Valley other one, the Animal Crossing one.
Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing, they're kind of different games. My wife plays they are not different games. They're the same basic game. They just look different. The same damn game. Dude, anyway. Animal Crossing's crazy morbid, man. As far as the new Animal Crossing, it's a lot lighter hearted, but Animal Crossing, the original one, is crazy morbid. We looked into the history and the lore of it, and you're essentially in the first one. You start on the N64. I think they ported it to GameCube. You're pretty much kidnapped by a guy who basically tells you owe him money for living on his island, even though he kidnapped you and took you to his own personal island.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is a little dark. But anyway, my wife needs to hook up with your wife with the friend codes or whatever is necessary so that they can share crap back and forth. But she's loving that. She's already gone through and done one run through of Diablo 3 and beat it. So she loves doing it. This is the 7th or 8th time she's done a run through of Diablo 3 and beaten it.
Oh,
that's her favorite game right now. So,
nice.
And the fact that she can have it on a handheld device, so TV can be on, other people can be doing stuff, and she can sit and play Diablo. That's that's part of the reason I got the thing for her in the first place, was so she had that capability to be able to have fun with those things. So, and the fact that Diablo was on it, that was I have to make sure she gets Diablo on Christmas Day, because that's going to be one of the first things she's going to want to do is fire that Diablo up and play. And so the oldest kid has enjoyed having it around too, so that he and mom can play games together and stuff. So it's been a fantastic thing to have happen. It was one of those gifts that I feel really good about, the fact that we ended up getting it, because I ended up getting it for her, because it's like, yeah, perfect, exactly what was necessary this year.
It's fantastic, man.
Yeah. And then I think that was the only gift I really talked about before Christmas. But of course, you deal with the after Christmas effect, leftover food, all the sweets and treats and whatnot that you get. And then should I share my personal journey on that, sir? The journey I shared with you?
Sure, if you're comfortable with it, feel free. I'll share a personal journey that I had over the last couple of weeks if you want to do that too.
Well, I am comfortable sharing it because I think it's something that people need to talk about. We talked about your heart attack scare and your time in the ER for the heart attack scare. And so these are things that, as we are getting to the age we are, that's part of what the Xennial Chronicles is about, is dealing with the fact that we are, we're either in or entering our 40s, and your body has all the changes that it ends up having during that time. People think, oh, teenage years when you have to worry about your body is changing. Here are the things that are happening. No, it also happens at the end of your 30s and into your 40s. Your body starts changing in a different way. Basically, it starts saying, hey, all the crap that you did in your 20s and your 30s where you were having fun and not paying attention to me, I'm gonna fuck you over for that right now. All the wonderful things that you did. Well, I was lucky. I was not really a big drinker at any point in my life. I drinks occasionally, but I was never really a big drinker. Never smoked cigarettes. Never did any drugs, really. I don't consider like 1 or 2 times smoking pot doing drugs.
No.
One thing I
also it depends on like when you did that too. If you're doing drugs while you're in your teens and your brain's still developing, you're gonna end up with quite a bit of negative aftermath of that.
I was like 31 the first time I smoked pot, and I smoked it a couple of times.
In the clear.
Yeah, I smoked it a couple of times over like a 2-month period and decided it was not for me. I understand why other people enjoy it and partake of it, the feeling that they get. It's similar to me as the feeling that people get for partaking in alcohol as much as they do. I have never been a huge fan of either one of those feelings, because I am a crazy control freak and I don't like being out of control. And so it's me and my psychosis not being able to deal with those things.
Understood. Yeah.
So no judgment on anybody else. This is just what's right. So I did not partake of any of those things. So I don't necessarily have any of the troubles that come along with those things. However, my biggest, and it's funny, we're going to have the conversation we're going to have today. My biggest issue, the thing that has had control over me for the 40 years of my life, has been food. My love of food, especially sweet things and fatty things, but food in general, which is, of course, why I ended up being kind of the fat guy in the group, because I just didn't want to stop eating any food. And the more food you eat and the fatter you get, the less you want to move around, because it takes a lot of work to move this around. You have like your military people, right? Your people in the army, right? They're out in some foreign country doing the work that they need to be doing, and they got to carry all their gear. Okay, an army soldier carrying all the gear that they're carrying. We're talking these huge packs, all the body armor that they're wearing, the different guns that they're carrying, all of this carrying. If you take them with all that gear and themselves, put them on a scale, they would actually still weigh less than what I do. And they have to be in top peak physical condition to be able to run around and move around with carrying that whole load of stuff. So to try to carry around this much weight on a daily basis, it's tiring. Yeah. And then you want me to like walk like 2 to 3 times more than what I already normally do so that I can try to lose this weight? You want me to exercise? No, that hurts like a bitch. It's a lot of pain and you get tired really fast. That's why fat people have problems climbing upstairs and they get winded. Take a 150 pound or even 180 pound person, right? Have them carry an additional version of themselves up a set of stairs. And you can see why fat people do not like going up and down stairs, and they get winded and tired as hell by the time they get up the stairs.
Right.
If you can imagine that, sir, carrying a having strapped to your body to where it's like not just your arms, but your whole body is distributing the weight, throw out here an extra 120 pounds, right? Let's say they put a 120 pound suit on you, and you had to go up 3 flights of stairs carrying that 120 pound suit. How do you feel about that?
That's a ton of that's carrying an entire
almost another person.
Yeah. Like take a whole person and don't just strap them to your back. Like, I mean, technically you'd be doing that, but like have them hold you around your waist, you know, because it's pulling from different areas of your body. But the thing is the stress that you're putting on your bone structure and your muscle, just carrying that weight on a constant basis.
Your legs
don't just consider the other health problems, like, you know, the issues with blood and your heart and all that kind of stuff, but the constant amount of physical stress you're putting yourself under by existing that way.
Yeah, and it's awful. Now, let me make the comment here that I'm not trying to say that that, you know, oh, woe is me because I'm a fat guy. I got here because of the choices I made. This is all about the choices I made and the foods that I ate and the foods that I continue to eat and the lifestyle that I've lived. This isn't something like, oh, suddenly I just woke up one day and I was fat and I had nothing to do with it. This is all about, you know, again, the stuff I did in my teens, my 20s, my 30s, and the stuff I did not do. So it's all on me to have to deal with it. The fact that my legs hurt on a daily basis because I'm carrying around this much weight, it's all my fault. It's nobody else's fault. I mean, yes, I could say something like, you know, hey, I can attribute it to the fact that my wife is a good cook. That's great. Great that she's a good cook, but she's not the one who made me eat, you know, 2 and 3 plates of the food. She just made food that tasted good. She's not at fault for how much of it I ate. And she's also not at fault for the fact that after I ate the food, I sat on my ass and didn't do anything. That's all on me. Every bit of it is on me for being at this point. And, you know, I dealt with it. I made jokes about it. I used humor to deal with it, as I usually do. You know, look at me. I'm the fat guy. You know, I know how these things taste. You want to know why you should trust me? I'm fat. I make all the jokes, and I'm okay with the jokes. The jokes are amusing to me. I'm even okay when other people, depending on the people, make the jokes as well. If I know that their intention is not to try to belittle me for my weight, but to just be able to share in the joke, I'm okay with that. But previous to this little break that we had, this little Christmas break that we had, I had known that my lifestyle had caused a few issues with me, specifically that I had high blood pressure, which technically there's a genetic component to that as well. Everybody in the family has high blood pressure. My dad famously failed multiple physicals trying to enlist in the Air Force during Vietnam. Yeah, he tried to enlist in the Air Force in Vietnam because he really didn't want to go into the Army and the Marines because he didn't really want to go fight in the jungle. My dad is my dad is a very peaceful guy. He is not the type that wants to have a gun and go kill people. That's not his style. He does like guns in the collecting sense of them, and he does enjoy shooting guns occasionally, target shooting and whatnot. But he's not the gun guy who goes out hunting with his guns. He's not the gun guy who really has them for like home defense or anything. He just thinks guns are kind of cool. And most of his guns are like Western style guns, like single action six shooter pistols. He likes, because he's a huge Western fan. Like John Wayne is his favorite actor ever.
Oh, so, nice.
Yeah, so it's all collectible type of stuff for him. But he's a peaceful guy, really, really peaceful guy.
Okay.
So going into a military type thing where he'd have to be out in the jungle trying to fight for his life and whatnot, that even take any political things aside from it, he just didn't want to have to go and possibly shoot people or get shot at by other people. That was not something he was interested in doing. He had a best friend that went and enlisted in the Marines for some reason and was in Vietnam for a while. And, you know, he understood that guy wanted to go and serve his country, and my dad was all great with that. That's just not the path my dad wanted to take. And so he was attempting to enlist in the Air Force. He didn't get drafted into the Army. In the hopes that maybe with the Air Force, he would get a desk job somewhere, something where he didn't have to necessarily worry about going into combat, because that's just not what he wanted to do.
Right.
He failed either 3 or 4 physicals during the Vietnam draft era. He failed 3 or 4 physicals. I don't know the exact number. And they finally put on his charts that he never had to worry about being drafted. He never had to worry about military service because he was completely unfit. just based on his blood pressure alone. His blood pressure would be so sky high trying to do those physicals that it was like, nope, we can't take you. We're not sure you're going to live trying to do any of the pressure that would happen, even in like basic training. I think I was even one of the doctors.
You're blood pressure attacks in basic training. If you're out in the field like that, it's impossible. You're going to.
This isn't even again. This is not in basic training. This is just a doctor's physical. In a doctor's office,
checking his blood pressure while he was exercising.
No, this is just a doctor's physical. They're checking his blood pressure.
Oh my God.
The doctors are looking at him, wondering why he's even alive right then and there with how high his blood pressure was.
Whoa.
Yeah, crazy, insanely high blood pressure. And I think a part of it was, I think the majority of it was, he did not want to have to go into a war situation because that's not who he was. He really didn't want to go into the military.
So it's just like a stress thing.
Yeah, I think it was just a stress thing. Like this is, there are people who are desirous to go into the military, people who are suited to go into the military, and I am thankful and grateful for those people every single day. One of my brothers did serve in the Navy for many years. I'm grateful for the fact that he felt that was his calling to serve in the Navy. For my father, for me, for example, these were not things that either one of us wanted to do. We are like, nope, this is military. Is for me, it was a lot of it was about the exercise, but there's more things involved in it. You see the theme here. James doesn't like exercise. James becomes fat. It makes sense. But it was just my dad really not been in the military, and luckily he didn't have to be. It's each person is suited for their own thing in that. But yeah, so the blood pressure I can maybe say has some genetic component in it. It just happens in the family regardless of what you do with your life.
Right.
But I had also been diagnosed with borderline cholesterol, which makes sense with the food that I ate. Mm-hmm. And then the kind of low level diabetes. And by low level, I was just barely above the levels that they wanted me to be at. They started me on some basic medication. Well, over the month of December this last year, just a month ago, I was feeling really awful. And it could have been just because, winter was coming along. It could have been for the fact that, as we talked about here on the podcast, we had the brush with COVID. So it could have been a little bit of that, maybe a residual from that. And it was a stressful time. So we were all kind of stressed out here in the house. And I thought maybe it's stress, maybe it's not. But I'm just feeling off. I'm not feeling right. Ended up getting in touch with my doctor, getting some blood tests done, and finding out that my cholesterol is still at the same level it was. So that's good. My blood pressure, didn't get to take it because it was a phone interview, and then go and get blood work. They didn't physically see me because, the nature of life nowadays. But the blood test revealed that the diabetes part, that went totally wacko on me. And totally wacko to the point that it's like bad. The number that they use to kind of check to monitor where your diabetes is at, basically where your blood sugar's at. Like daily you prick your finger, take a blood sample, and you have a little meter that will test what your blood glucose is. That's a daily test you can do at home.
Okay. Oh, right.
It's easy. You just do a little prick on your finger, and there's a little strip that you put the blood onto. It's attached to you stick the strip in the meter. It will tell you what your blood glucose is, and you got to keep under certain levels. I had not been doing that every morning as I should have been. And so again, the number that they use on the big blood test, though, it's called your A1C. And your A1C basically gives an idea of, over the long period of time, where your blood sugar is, where how things are happening. And for somebody who is diagnosed diabetic, you want to keep your A1C somewhere between 6 and 7. That's a good range to be in. And previously I was at a 6.8, so I was in a good range. Well, this blood test showed that I was not in a good range anymore. And keep in mind, they had just been giving me some pills for the diabetes, just some basic pills, and not very high dosage ones. Well, this put my A1C at 10.1, which is bad, like risking my health bad. Like if I kept that way for another 6 months, maybe a year, I could be looking at, if not shorter amount of time, I could be looking at severe organ damage in my body. Like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, I also had elevated liver enzymes, which is typically indicative of either liver failure, but I don't drink, so there's not a good likelihood of liver failure, or what they call fatty liver. And that typically happens when you are diabetic and overweight. And guess what? Diabetic, overweight, that all fits me. So my doctor had a very frank conversation with me and said, listen, your A1C is through the roof, and this is not okay. We're going to have to up your oral medications already. But you're at the point now where, with it being this bad, we finally need to put you on insulin and you have to do an insulin shot every night. Said now for the fatty liver, there's no medication to correct that. There's only one thing that can correct that. And these numbers are high. We need to work on correcting this now. And if you do this, you can correct that and make your diabetes better. It's not going to get it gone and completely taken care of, but it will make it better and more manageable and give you a longer life. I'm like, all right, let me guess. She says, you know what it is already. I don't need to tell you, but I'm going to anyway. You got to lose the weight. You got to change your diet. You got to be active. You got to lose the weight. Well, because I figured that was the problem, even when I contacted the doctor and I was feeling off, I figured that this may be the problem. I kind of just had this feeling, you know what I mean? That like this thing is, even though I've been trying to deal with it and manage it, I wasn't doing well enough. I was slipping. Especially this year, I ate a lot more sugary things than I'm supposed to be eating. And I knew it. I had purchased myself a Christmas gift 2 weeks before Christmas. And we've talked before about how I am about Christmas gifts. I'm not necessarily a huge fan of getting them. I'm more a fan of giving them, which I still like to receive things. I just, it's not like I have to have a Christmas gift to feel like it's Christmas. But I went and got myself a Christmas gift. I got myself one of these, what do you call them? Fitness tracker bracelets.
Mm-hmm.
It's one that I had, that I'd actually bought for my, similar to one that I bought for my wife about a year ago. She had asked for one because she wanted to work on her fitness stuff and get, it's helpful for her. And so I said, you know what? It's been working good for her. She's been doing well with it. I think I just have this feeling that this is what the doctor's going to tell me. She's going to tell me my diabetes is out of control. She's going to tell me I need to now lose the weight. And if I don't now, it's going to be, before it was, you should try to lose the weight. I knew that now it was going to be, you have to lose the weight. And that's exactly what she said. So I'd gotten this fitness tracker already, and it was like, all right, we're a week, not even a week, like a couple of days before this new year is going to start. This last year has been crazy, insane, all these different things that have happened. But at the same time, a lot of, as much as there's bad things that have happened within this country and within this world over the last year, over 2020, a lot of really good things happened for me. Went back to school, have done well at school, have gotten experience doing more computer stuff, have experience stuff online for schooling, which is going to help me for when I want to do my job. So many wonderful things have happened. I've gotten some breakthroughs with my kids on things. There's been some great stuff happening throughout all of the craziness that has been happening. And, I try to look at the bright points as much as possible. And I realized that this 2020 ended up being a year where I learned so many new things about myself, so many new things about other people. And it was kind of the springboard for me to take this next step in my life, which is taking care of my body in a better way and making the determination that I'm going to end up being a different person by the time December rolls around here in 2020. I'm going to be a different person than I was in December 2020. Hopefully I'm going to be about 2/3 of the person that I was. That's kind of what I'm looking at. But
right.
I'm going to be a different person. I'm going to have not just a momentary change in my diet to try to lose weight, but an entire change in the way I'm approaching my lifestyle as it comes to eating, as it comes to anything I'm doing physically. I am making a change. And I can say that I've made the change to increase my physical activity. This thing is this little fitness tracker is kind of neat because it's got the regular tracking where like it tracks your steps and whatnot, and it tracks your heart rate and those kind of things. But it's got an altimeter in it, so it tracks when you go up and down stairs. So that's kind of neat. So you can have a fitness goal for how many times you go up and down the stairs in a day. And I live in I'm in a 2-story house, so I have the capability to go up and down the stairs as part of a fitness regimen. So I've been steadily increasing that. Not just trying to jump into, I'm going to do 1,000 steps in one day. slowly increase, give myself goals that I can attain. I have weight goals that I'm trying to attain, and then I know I've shown you through a few pictures, other people through a few pictures. I've kind of done a revamp on my diet, eating a lot of different things that I wasn't normally eating before, not because I didn't like them necessarily, but because I didn't want to take the time to make them, and there were other things that I could do quick and easy that were just, I'll just eat that, crappy thing that's really not good for me, but it's quick and easy. I don't have to think about it. I've given myself enough leeway to be able to still enjoy snacks and still be able to have the treats. I just have to do them in a level of moderation that I really sometimes did before, but really didn't before. I let myself go on it because there was always a thing of, well, I should lose weight. I should eat healthier, but I don't have to yet. Well, now I have to. And that's, to me, that's typically the best way to motivate myself, is to put myself in the position of, you don't have a choice, you have to do this. Because as long as I have the choice, and many people are like this, as long as you have the choice to not do it, it's really easy to say, well, I don't have to, so I'm not going to. And there's so many other things that I have to do throughout my day, throughout my my regular schedule of things. The food stuff and the fitness stuff, those were always the shoulds. I have now made them the have tos. And I can say one thing that's been exceptionally brilliant. I said before that my wife has been on her own journey for her own personal fitness, and it is entirely her journey. She's doing it for herself. She has her own goals in mind, which she has shared her goals with me, and I'm glad she has, because it's always good to have people to share your goals with. You should have probably at least one family member and at least one friend that you can share some of your goals with on these things. And at the same token, it's her journey of what she wants to be able to create for her body, as far as the feeling healthy, feeling good, weight that she may want to get to, appearance that she may want to get to, by watching what she eats, eating specific things, increasing her physical activity. And I've been, 100% supportive on everything that she's been doing, including sometimes being the mean person that says, are you sure that you want to have that? Because you said you didn't want to have that. And you told me that when you go to grab these things as impulse things, you told me to tell you not to have it. Right. That's the only way I'll tell her not to eat something, is if she eats it and then she's like, I wouldn't have had that. And I'm like, okay, so next time you have it, do you want me to say something to you? Or next time you try to crave it and grab it, you want me to say something to you, or do you want me just to be quiet? Because I'll do what you want me to do. I'm not going to be the one who's like telling you, no, you shouldn't have those chili fries. I'm not going to say that to you unless you've told me, tell me not to have the chili fries. Because there's no way in hell I'm saying that to my wife. No, you can't have that food. That's wrong. I will never say that without permission. No, that's just you don't do that to people. Yeah, especially when it comes to people's fitness and weight and appearance and their self-esteem about themselves. That's a great way to tear down somebody's self-esteem, is questioning what they're doing without having been given permission to do it, because you just make them feel awful doing that. But I've been, 100% supportive of her journey as she's been on her journey, including making sure that we have removed or eliminated certain things in the household that are triggers for her. Or if I'm going to have something that is a trigger for her, I do it when she's not around or she can't see, or whatever. And I don't tell her necessarily about it, so I'm not being a problem for her, triggering her in any way. And she has been, in the last couple of weeks, as I've done this kind of changeover for myself, she has been 100% supportive of me in everything that I've been doing. And it's super helpful that she can be 100% supportive of me, because you need to have that person that's there to support you in this. And she's she's jumping in when I need her to. She's sure to get the foods that I'm wanting to try. I had her searching for new bread for me the other day, so that I was already eating a fairly healthy loaf of bread, but I went for something that's even more healthy. These, and they're small changes that I'm making while still being able to enjoy the things that I love. And the biggest change being the fact that normally I eat the same thing for breakfast every day. Lunch was always basically the time between breakfast and dinner was always the time that was up in the air as far as what I was going to eat. Sometimes there'd be leftovers from dinner previous. Sometimes I'd have to, just make up whatever I wanted to along the way. Mm-hmm. And, that was the time of day where I'd just basically eat whatever I wanted to. Literally the whole time between breakfast and dinner, I would eat whatever I wanted to. And it was more than I should have been eating, snacking all day, eating an entire tube of crackers or cookies like that. I have this thing where, like, if I open a package of something, I have the desire to want to eat the package all the way through. So it's really difficult for me not to,
I'm right there with you on that. Like, that's what sucks for me is, like, if I get a bag of chips and I want to eat the whole thing. And I mean the entire full-size bag, not like a personal bag. No, I'm talking you get a full-size bag of Doritos, family-size bag of Doritos. You're going to open that thing up and it's going to be sitting open on the counter and I'm going to be munching on it for like hours, but I will eat that whole damn bag before the day's over.
Oh yeah.
And I have to watch myself on that super bad.
It doesn't, and for me, it doesn't sit on the counter. It sits next to me on the couch, and I just it's mindless eating. It's just hand in the bag, grab the chip, put it in your mouth, hand in the bag, grab the chip. There's no thought about it whatsoever. And I would do that with many things. And again, there have been times in my life before that I have tried to focus on for other reasons that were not. In hindsight now, looking back, none of the reasons I tried to lose weight before or change my diet up before were compelling enough, because I wasn't at the point where, like, you might die if you don't do this at that point. I actually was playing more of a, you might die. It's like, you will die if you won't change this, because that's where I'm at this point. I got to the point where my body was saying, I'm going to cut off on you. I'm going to start shutting down pieces of you because you've done enough to me. You've abused me enough with all of these things that you eat. And the fact that it's not so much that I have a hamburger or I have some candy, it's that I don't have anything else except for the hamburger and the candy. I don't eat anything that's actually good for me, or I wasn't eating anything that's actually good for me. I was just eating the stuff that's bad for me. And the thing is, you can still have the things that are bad for you occasionally and within reason, but you also need to put in the stuff that is good for you. So it isn't just about, okay, instead of having like a hamburger and like, a huge gigantic plate of fries every night for dinner, and deciding, okay, I'm not going to have the huge gigantic plate. I'll only have like a quarter of the plate of fries, and maybe instead of having the hamburger that has like 2 patties on it and bacon, I'll just have a leaner meat hamburger and only the one, and maybe I'll do a bun that's different. That's not enough sometimes if you're still going to have it every single day. I've cut out so much of the meal, you're still not eating any good stuff in your body. You're not putting the good stuff in. You're still just putting the bad stuff. Even if you only cut it down to half the bad stuff you were putting in before, you're not putting any good stuff in your body. And that's what I was doing. I had times in my life cut it down to where, okay, I'm only going to eat about half of what I was eating, and thought that was enough. That should be enough. I'm only eating half of it. The problem is, it was all still not necessarily healthy stuff that I was eating. There's nothing healthy in any of it. And it's like, yes, cut down your bad foods, but then eat more good foods too. Fill the spaces with good foods. Don't just, because if you're still just cutting out, you may be cutting calories, you may be cutting your portion sizes, but you're not giving your body anything that it needs. You're not giving it the right fuel. You're giving it crap fuel. And so, Full crap fuel is just as bad as half crap fuel. They're both equally bad. You need to give good stuff to your body, and that's what I've started doing. I've started giving my body healthier, better stuff that's there's no necessarily singular diet that I'm following, other than trying to eat foods that are for me, they have to be complex carbohydrates and minimal simple sugar stuff. So anything that's got a lot of added sugar, I have to cut out just because of the diabetes, which people should anyway, because processed sugar is not really good for you,
Right, exactly.
You should, if you're going to consume anything with carbs in it, you should consume carbs that are complex. So your body has to work to break them down more, which means that they're not just rushing to your body in sugar. Your body actually has to do something. And while they're breaking them down, they're actually, burning calories to break the food down.
Right.
And then, eating more healthy. I hate to use the word natural because I don't want everybody to, like, I've gone on this path of being some, dietary whatever, but just still more natural foods, less processed foods, and still be able to enjoy those things occasionally, but have the enjoyment of the things you love in the moderation, while at the same time putting better stuff into your body the majority of the time. And I still have my Sundays where I have my waffle sandwich. I have my waffles. I've subbed them out for a more high protein waffle. Are they as sweet and lovely as a normal waffle? No, but they still taste good. I will admit they don't taste as good as a normal waffle does. They're not as good, but they still taste good. They still are palatable. They're not like, oh my God, this is like eating, the worst whole wheat bread that you've ever had. And there, by the way, there is a difference between wheat breads. Some wheat breads are like sandpaper. Some wheat breads are actually kind of tasty. You just got to find the right one. Seriously, you do. You have to find the right one. Don't just discount all of them. Just like vegetables. Some vegetables are good. Some vegetables are awful. Zucchini is a perfect example. There's a lot of people that I know that absolutely love zucchini that aren't vegetable eaters. They love zucchini in so many different ways. I believe you and I had a discussion about it with zucchini pasta. Yeah. And you were talking about zucchini pasta, and the way you were talking about it, it's like Mike must love himself some zucchini pasta. That's what I'm guessing.
It was honestly pretty good. It was I was not entirely, because it's really weird because I've never been big on zucchini in general. It's never been a big thing for me. I don't like the little fried zucchini chips. I'm not really into regular zucchini.
And that's where I was going to go with this. It's like you've known me for years, man. You've known me for years.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anything fried that I've been like, no, I don't want to try that? Ever?
No.
Fried zucchini is one of the few fried things I won't. Just like, nah, I'm not really. I mean, I will if I feel like I have to.
That it's just not good, man. I don't like it.
I don't like the flavor. Now, I do like zucchini bread when it's made into bread properly, but that's because it doesn't taste to me. It doesn't taste much different than banana bread, so I'm okay with it.
Right, it's like the same flavoring with zucchini instead of banana. So I'm with you on that one. I feel like we very much agree on this, except for, and I understand your aversion to it. This thing with the zucchini pasta. So the thing about the zucchini pasta for me is that I was quite shocked at how it was made. Like, we actually did it, and
with the spiralizer. Really, really huh?
Yeah, we had a spiralizer for some time, but we just kind of sat on the concept of it. And I think we did it with zucchini. We tried spaghetti squash too, and I feel like we almost burned down the house doing that one time. Dude, spaghetti squash is scary. I
won't mess with that stuff.
Spaghetti squash is nuts. Like, there was apparently a recipe to where you microwave spaghetti squash, and we're like, okay, it's sort of just poke a couple holes in it and then just throw it in the microwave, and I'm like,
it'll blow up.
Fucking exploded. Yeah, we were like, no, this is wrong. So, anyways, we from there we were a little skeptical on the whole zucchini spaghetti idea, and until we actually tried it, and we found out that you have to spiralize the zucchini yourself. And then you take it and you just toss it into a pan and pan fry it just a little bit, like lightly enough to get it to have some like a bit harder consistency. Just a light pan fry with a little bit of olive oil. And then you take that and it's your base rather than regular spaghetti noodles. It's not the same consistency. It is different. Yeah. You're going to have to come to terms with that if you have it. But it's just, I enjoyed it. I will tell you that. I did enjoy it.
That's my wife has done it before. She has a spiralizer. She's made the noodles out of the zucchini. I did not eat them, and it's mainly because zucchini is one of those that just the texture is one thing with it, but the flavor, I'm just not a fan of zucchini as a flavor. I'm not really a big lover of gourds anyway. About the only thing I like done with gourds is like pumpkin pie, and honestly, the majority of flavor from pumpkin pie comes from the spices, not from the flavor of pumpkin. So, I mean, that's the only way I really like any gourds. But there are a lot of vegetables that I do like. And again, it's about finding the things that you like and eating the things that you do like that are the better, more healthy things for you to eat. If it's, different fruits and vegetables, if it's whole grains instead of all the processed stuff, just make better decisions and still be able to keep and enjoy the things that you do like in more moderation. But that's the key, is you can't just do the in moderation with stuff. You still have to add in the healthier things. And so I've given myself more structure when it comes to my food. As far as like I said, I still have my breakfast sandwich where I get my waffle and I get my what are those things called? The potato things. Damn it. Brain's not working. Hash browns. I get my hash browns in my in my waffle sandwich, and I get my scrambled eggs, and I get my little bit of bacon, not a whole lot. And then another waffle. That's my waffle sandwich. Every Sunday, I still have my waffle sandwich. Now the rest of the week, I'm having just some protein waffles and scrambled eggs, which are, you know, good protein, low sugars, good way to start the day with a nice big protein infusion. You know, it gets you going. It gives you the energy you need throughout the and fairly low calories, enough calories to get you started for the day, but not too many to drag you down. And so I do that the rest of the week. I have my one day that I look forward to each week, that this is the day I get to have my awesome waffle sandwich. And because I have the awesome waffle sandwich with all the extra stuff, maybe I change what I eat throughout the rest of the day, in that if I would normally have a snack between breakfast and lunch, maybe that day I don't have the snack because I ate a lot more. For adding on some hash browns and some bacon, that's more. That's you know, it's more stuff you're putting in your body. Let's, you know, find another place where you can make the sacrifice on that. And it works out because it's damn worth it to have my waffle sandwich. I love that thing. That thing is, I've been making my waffle sandwich since before any kind of restaurant thought to make a sandwich out of a damn waffle. I can tell you that. I was doing it back in the mid 90s, sir. My dad would make the one meal that all my friends like to have that my dad made, and probably my favorite thing that my dad made. The one thing that was like, this is what stands out that my dad makes good. He would make breakfast for dinner on it's like at least once a month basis, sometimes even more than that. And we're talking fried potatoes, waffles, sausage, bacon, scrambled eggs. I mean, we're the whole deal. It was just, and huge amounts. And back then, he had one of those waffle makers that's got like 4 squares in it. You know, the big, huge ones. You know which ones I'm talking about? Like the gigantic.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Because like the smaller ones make just like 2 squares, and then you have like the round ones that are like the Belgian style that you flip over and whatnot, that make just kind of the big round thing. This was this Mondo old school waffle maker, and it was an old one too. It had been around forever, that made 4 squares at once. This is big, huge. It more than covered like a large plate. It was hanging over like an inch on every side of a large plate if you just plopped it onto a plate with those 4 flat. It's amazing, and especially good for, you know, a decent sized family, and everybody wants waffles. And I'd have all 4 of those, right? I would make 2 waffle sandwiches as a teenager and eat them because, hey, teenage metabolism, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can eat those 2 big waffle sandwiches, and it isn't killing you because your body's just going to burn right through it. But you know, it's making the small choices, making the small changes. And again, you mentioned the zucchini pasta. We've made a change to where the pasta that we use now is a high protein pasta. I think it's made from chickpeas or lentils, one of the two. So instead of being a flour-based pasta, it's a different plant-based pasta. Gives you more protein. Gives you and like you said with the zucchini, it's not like normal spaghetti. It's not the same texture. It's not the same consistency. It's a whole different thing, and you have to understand that going in. The protein pasta, a little chewier than normal pasta. You know, flavor, not really much of a difference, but texture, a very big difference. But not a bad one, and one that, like, okay, so I changed the texture on my pasta, but I still get some of the other stuff with it. You know, I still get the chicken in my pasta, or the normally like to put chicken, maybe some artichoke heart in there, asparagus, whatever. So we get some of the other flavors and still the same stuff. I change one little thing, make it slightly different, and deal with that. At least I can. Some people can't, and I understand that each person's journey is going to be their own on something like this. But that's what works for me. And so I can say that, again, you've seen the pictures of lunch. At lunch now, I have huge servings of vegetables and a protein to go with it to, again, help me keep going through the day. I change out my protein on a daily basis. I didn't get my lunch today, actually, because normally right about now while we're recording is when I would be sitting down to eat my lunch. So I'm changing up my menu a little bit today, only because I knew we were going to be recording during my lunchtime. I actually had a little bit of extra snack before we started doing our recording today. But
nice.
But I've shown you the pictures. I have basically 3/4 of my plate is covered in vegetables, and there's some kale in there, there's some broccoli, there's some cabbage, there's some mixed vegetables in there, and then I have like a little tiny corner that's got like a piece of salmon in it. Or the other day I had a grilled cheese sandwich. Today after we're done recording, I'm going to do my lunch afterwards, because like I said, I would normally be having it right now. I'll have all my veggies, and I'm going to have a couple of turkey tacos that are left over from the other night. Ground turkey meat, a couple of low calorie yellow corn tortillas that I'm going to heat up and throw the turkey in, throw a little bit of cheese in there, give me my protein, and then have all my veggies.
Nice, dude. Dude, I will tell you this, like the plate that you showed me of the veggies, like straight up pulled me into going and getting those veggies. It was so good. And I was impressed.
And I can say the reason it happened, I told you, but I'll say it on here. The reason it happened was on the first, literally on the first, we decided we were gonna have dinner out. And since my wife is on her journey and I've started my journey, we're intertwining pieces of the journey. We eat dinner together. So some of the meal planning she's been doing for dinner has taken into account what she's working on for the foods that she's trying to eat to be healthy and the foods that I'm trying to eat to be healthy. And so we decided that one of the things that was costing us money, even though we didn't do it very often, or we didn't do it as often as some people might, but it was costing us money and it was not healthy for us, was the fact that we had over the last year increased how much we were eating out. Now everybody has over the last year. 2020 has been that year definitely. Ordering things in carside pickup, you know what I mean, and having things delivered. And I'm sure many people have had more pizza delivery this year than any years previous, because it's just, that's the nature of what's happened this year. And we had something set up where we're eating out once a week, and we were kind of alternating the places that we eat out, and we'd buy huge meals. And of course I would buy stuff that isn't necessarily the healthiest stuff for me to be eating and just eat as much of it as I could. And it was, it was what it was. Well,
right.
We decided to go out to the wife's favorite place. And might I add, for those people who are listening who are 49er fans, the favorite restaurant of George Kittle, the outstanding tight end for the 49ers. It is his favorite place to go. In fact, he is now a spokesperson for the restaurant. And yes, he loved it well before he got hired to be the spokesperson. He was hired to be a spokesperson because of how much he loved it. And that would be Panda Express. Yes, I know it's not like really good Chinese food, but it's Chinese food that I like to eat. So screw you all.
Well, yeah, it's not like full. It's you kind of got the Chipotle Taco Bell type of stigma that goes with it. But to be completely honest, it's consistent.
And it's basically Chinese fast food.
So it's getting.
It's the equivalent of people trying to say that McDonald's is American food. It's really
right,
not.
Exactly. McDonald's is pretty American, being the fact that it's fast food, but it's not like a barbecued burger. Yeah. We're not talking like 4th of July backyard barbecue stuff. We're talking this is something that's on the go. It's not going to be the full experience. So fully understood there.
Anyway, as I had already started this kind of journey and was already starting to change some of my habits, I hadn't changed into the vegetable habit yet. I was trying to figure out all the places that I could try to change to put healthier things in my body that I hadn't been, like more vegetables, more fruits, more natural foods. That I eat a lot of processed foods, and I've known for years that processed foods aren't necessarily the best thing for you. Biologically speaking, it's not like our bodies were, evolved to eat processed foods. We're still evolving to eat processed foods, because processed foods have only been around for 100 years, maybe 120 years.
120 years, yeah.
Which we may talk. The second half of this may touch a little bit on some of that, but you like that? You like that connection? You didn't see that? I
like
that. Coming,
that was good. It's nice little. We're almost segued into it, but I like it.
Exactly.
I also like the juxtaposition between the two sections.
That's why we're doing it this way. We're coming back from a hiatus, short hiatus. A little bit of time off. We need to hit people hard.
Exactly.
And so for the Panda Express, I was looking at the menu stuff, and I'm like, well, I'm getting the sesame chicken because I love that stuff. Plus, it has green beans in it, and I love green beans. I'm weird, I know, but I love green beans. I'll eat canned green beans.
I love the hell out of green beans.
And then like I really love if you get like the actual real green beans and like cook them for like hours in like a crock pot, and just let them cook forever until they're nice and soft and squishy. They're so good.
Okay, I'm gonna have to try that because we have a crock pot and we can do that. I'm feeling that.
You got to put at least like a quarter of a pound of bacon in there with it. You can do more, but like you want to chop up the bacon super small, like really, really small before you cook, and then put it in the crock pot on high for a little while so the bacon gets a little bit cooked. You don't like brown, but just like it renders off a little bit of the bacon fat, and then you put the green beans in there with it. And it kind of adds a lot of flavor. And yes, it's not the most healthy thing, but at the same time, you're only using a little bit of the bacon. You're not using a whole bunch of it. You know what I mean?
All right.
But anyway, I'm looking at the Panda Express menu, and I'm like, okay, so I'm getting my sesame chicken. What else can I get? And they had 2 other chicken options that were their stir fry wok chicken options. And they're healthier ones because they're not breaded. They don't have the super sweet sauces on them or anything. Well, another one of them was literally a green bean chicken. I was like, okay, more green beans. I'm down. And I think the other one was like a black pepper chicken. I'm like, okay, these are their healthy options. They have lower calories. They're not breaded and have all the sweet stuff. So I'm trying to cut down on the carbs. I'm trying to cut down on calories a little bit. I'm trying to cut down on sugar. So let's try these 2. I'm going to try these 2. I'm going to get the bigger plate so I have these 3 different entrees to try. And then normally I get the chow mein because I love me some chow mein. But I'm like, I'm going to get this time I'm going to get like half chow mein. And I'm going to try their super greens. Why not? I'm not a big, and the super greens are kale, broccoli, and cabbage. And I'm like, I'm not really a kale fan. I'm good with broccoli, and I'm good with cabbage. Let's see what happens here. And I can tell you right now, super greens from there, at least that night. I mean, you know, each night can be slightly different. Typically consistency at a place like that, but each night can be slightly different. But that night, those super greens were probably the best thing that was in my container. Now, all the chickens were good. The green bean chicken was good. The black pepper chicken was good. The sesame chicken was what it always is. And the chow mein was even good. But those greens were amazing. And I was like, my body wants this. My body likes this. It's happy right now. And maybe I'm old enough to where my taste buds have changed enough where green things are even more palatable to me. Because it does happen. Your tastes change. And that inspired me to start buying the vegetables that I've been buying. And other than today, I would say I'm at a week. I'm at 10 days now. I'm at 10 days that every single day I have had those for that big plate of vegetables as my lunch every single day. And I'm still happy having it every day. I look forward to it every day.
That's killer, man.
Tastes amazing. Tastes amazing. And so it's not something that, of course, again, like I said, it's not a diet thing where I'm going to do it until I get to a weight that I need to get to and then stop doing it. This is me changing my life and making my life something completely different than what it was, and ensuring that I'm going to have another 30, 40 years, at least in the sense that I'm not going to let the things that I've done to my body stop me from having those times. I'm going to try to correct as much of that as possible.
Yeah.
Again, I have goal weights I want to get to. I have rewards for myself at specific goal weights. And quite frankly, it's liberating to know that after I personally, at least for my personal journey, I made it through 2020 and was able to get a lot of accomplishments then through the craziest year that I've lived through so far. I can look forward to this year becoming the new me and hopefully the better me.
Yeah.
So
right on, man. Well,
that's kind of what happened.
Right on, man. I was gonna say if I can say, I'm proud of you, man. Proud of you for taking hold of it. Like that's a big step. That's a huge deal. And I like I said, man, I'm just super proud of you for doing it. That's really cool.
Maybe at some point I'll get to the point where I'm better about getting pictures taken of me. Because it's really hard at this point. Mainly because people have to stand so far away to get all of me in frame.
Aww.
I got to tell the jokes while I can, man. The fat jokes become less funny when you're not fat anymore. I guess if you turn around a little bit, you can still make them. Anyway, but it's funny that I talk about that part of the journey because we're going to take a break here in just a moment. But what we're coming back to is, of course, going to talk about the fact that I did still, even during this journey that I had, even through this revelation, I did still get the nostalgia of chips that anybody that watched the last little video 2 weeks ago saw the chips that I had. I did still get to have the nostalgia of enjoying them. I'll mention them, talk about them for a minute. But that was part of the inspiration for what Mike wanted to talk about, which is still food related. And so what is it we're going to be talking about, Mike, so we can whet people's appetite?
Well, sir, I looked some stuff up. I actually saw, well, I don't know. How about we do this? How about I open it up, do like a full open up after the break?
That's fantastic. Let's do that. Let's do that. So right now we're going to take a little break. And when we're back, I'll mention something about 3Ds, and then Mike's going to he was interested in and did some research for. I like to inspire people. Inspiring people is good, especially with 90s nostalgia. It's always good to inspire people.
Yeah.
Right, we'll be back in just a moment.
All right.
Hey friends, this is Mike from the Xennial Chronicles reminding you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Xenchron, spelled Xenchron, to keep up to date on all things TXC. And please check out our official website, theXennialChronicles.com, or if that's too much to type, Xenchron.com. Thanks again for listening, and now, back to the show.
And we're back.
All right.
So, I'm going to do the 3Ds thing first. Is that okay? The 3D thing? Can I do the 3D thing?
Do the 3D thing. Do the 3D thing. Yes.
I'm trying to have the right feel for it, because the 90s was all about things being extreme. Everything's extreme. You have to have everything just kind of out there. You know what I'm saying? Bright clothes, things popping in your face. And your chips can't be normal chips. No, you can't have normal chips. You need to have chips that aren't flat anymore. They need to be 3-dimensional chips. And what did we have?
Get that 2-dimensional bullshit out of here.
Exactly. What did we end up having? We had 3D Doritos 3Ds.
Man.
The most beautiful, wonderful things, in my opinion, as far as chips went during the 90s. I mean, I will admit, when it comes down to it, the Cool Ranch Doritos are still like my top 1 or 2 chips in all of existence. My top 1 chip they don't even make anymore. They only made for a very small number of years, which is how it always runs. The one thing that you love the most, they only make for a short period of time.
Yeah.
So the enduring remaining number 1 chip for me is still Cool Ranch Doritos. I love the things. You want to make me happy? Sit me down with a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos and a 6-pack of Pepsi. Even though I'm not supposed to have the Pepsi now, I'll take Pepsi. What is it? Pepsi 1, Pepsi 0, whatever the calorie one that isn't the diet.
Oh yeah.
I'll take that right now, and I'm good with that, because at least it tastes close enough to Pepsi. But still give me them Cool Ranch Doritos, because yummy. But used to be back in the 90s, you had the Cool Ranch Doritos 3Ds, and then you had the nacho cheese Doritos 3Ds. Well, I heard it was coming. Just like a few years ago, the Crystal Pepsi came back, and I enjoyed every moment of Crystal Pepsi being back. All of you haters, just fuck off. Crystal Pepsi is amazing. And if you don't like it, I don't need to talk to you anymore.
I'm pretty sure that should be the new slogan of Crystal Pepsi at this point. All you haters, just fuck off.
I'm good with that. Pepsi, if you use that, here's the thing. If Pepsi hears this and they decide they want to use that as the new slogan for Crystal Pepsi, you don't need to pay me in money to take that slogan. You just need to pay me in Crystal Pepsi. That's it. You give me Crystal Pepsi, I am good to go. You can use slogan all you want to. I'll be in your commercials. That's not a problem. I'll do the commercials just for Crystal Pepsi. You ain't got to pay me no money. Just give me more Crystal Pepsi.
Yep.
I can drink it in moderation. It's all right. Anyway.
That's got to be one of your lines in the middle of the whole pitch.
Yeah.
Just in the middle of the it's great, it's amazing. I can drink it in moderation. It's all right.
I can do it. I can drink it in moderation.
Fantastic.
Even though I'm rivaling Wilford Brimley for being the new diabetes spokesman, I can still have this Crystal Pepsi in moderation.
Dude, did you know that guy was alive till last year?
Yeah.
Wilford Brimley died last year? I thought he died like 20 years ago.
He stayed around for a long time.
I didn't realize it.
Did you know he was in a Star Wars movie?
Wait, he was in a Star Wars movie?
It was a made-for-TV Star Wars movie, but it was still a Star Wars movie.
Shut up.
We'll talk about that another time.
Yeah. We're getting off the subject here.
I'll just slightly mention there were 2 Ewoks movies. Made-for-TV Ewoks movies. Do you remember those live-action ones?
I think I remember seeing a commercial for one of them, but I never watched it.
There was 2 of them, and he was in one of them.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Anyway,
that's legit.
So
Disney, make those canonical now.
I think I don't know if they are canon or not. I don't know yet.
Dude, if the Ewoks TV movies aren't canonical, they should be, just for the hell of it. Just to add to the lore.
It would be fun to have them in there.
Pretty sure one of those, because John Favreau had been looking at it and just be like, yeah, sure, whatever, fuck it, sure.
They've actually Clone Wars and The Mandalorian have used a creature that was that originally appeared for the first time in the Ewoks movies. So, but we'll get to that. We'll do that another time. And man, we missed having the Mandalorian discussion. We missed it. We missed me. Did we miss it, or did we have it here? Where I was crawling all over the couch, freaking out at the last episode of The Mandalorian. I will have it another time. Anyway,
we did. That was the last podcast we did.
That was the last podcast. Okay, because that was. Oh, it still sticks in my mind. That was a beautiful moment. The whole second season was beautiful. Anyway, back to the point. So my wife was out doing shopping during this break time, during our little break scenario around Christmas time. And we had heard rumblings. I had seen some stuff where there was going to be some 3Ds coming back, Doritos 3Ds coming back. They weren't going to be the original flavors. They were going to be different flavors. They were going to be coming back. Well, she was out shopping one day, and guess what? She saw them.
It was there.
They were there. And she ran there. And here's the thing. There are 2 different flavors that they came out with. The spicy ranch and chili cheese. That's the flavors of the new Doritos 3Ds that are out.
Really?
Yeah. Interesting flavors.
So not the standard, so they didn't have Cool Ranch, and they
not
didn't
the
have
Cool Ranch, not the nacho cheese. This is spicy ranch and this chili cheese. And I'll say this. Even though they're not the original flavors, they were still pretty good.
Nice.
Especially the spicy ranch. I mean, I like the ranch chips anyway. Spicy ranch were pretty good chips. Got a little bit of a spice, a little bit of heat to them. The chili cheese, they were good.
Right.
But they weren't like, if I want a chili cheese chip, I want a chili cheese Frito. To be completely honest. That gives me the real chili cheese flavor. This is just kind of you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But it doesn't matter because, again, this is 3Ds coming back after the massive hiatus that they were gone for. I mean, we were told they would never come back. These were the 90s chips. And it's just, there is something different about eating them, you know? There's something different. This just,
dude,
the crunch.
I have not had these yet, and I need to.
You didn't have them? I showed you them. I told you they were there. And you didn't. I'm done talking to you.
What's going on?
I'm talking to you. How are we friends? I don't get that. My God.
Sorry.
You didn't go and have them. They're amazing.
No, I mean, they're still out, right?
Last time store, she said that they didn't have any at that specific store because I'm expecting people to do a rush on them. I don't know how long they're going to be out for. But like it's like most things. Whenever like Lay's comes out with new flavors of chips and whatnot, they're only out for a specific amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so these will only be out for a whatever amount of time. But seriously, they're just. I mean, it's just one of those things. There's nothing else that has the same feeling as the 3D chips. It's just, I can't even describe it. The crunch that's in there. Did I mention the flavor pocket yet?
Flavor pocket?
I don't remember if I did. If I did, I'm repeating myself and I don't care, but I'm going to say it again. When you crunch into those, they have that bubble of air in them. It's like the flavor is trapped in that bubble of air. And when you crunch, it's released you. I know that's not true. They are not a spicy ranch flavored gusher. I know that that's not the way it is. The flavor's all right. I'm a logical, reasonable human being. But it just feels like that's what it is. And they're so good. I love them so much. Anyway, if you do go look for them, they were in smaller bags. Not like the super small bag, but like the medium small bag.
Yeah.
2 servings bag, not the 1 serving bag. Although, again, any bag can be 1 serving if you put your mind to it. But they were up near registers.
What happens with me with regular sized chip bags?
Yes, that's what happens with me too. Chip bags, package of Oreos, Cereal.
You ever see that? Speaking of Oreos, you ever see that meme that people were sharing? I think it was like 6 months ago, where it's got a package of Oreos open, right? Just a full box of Oreos completely open, saying I'm about to do a line.
Oh yeah. I think I remember seeing that and thinking to myself, why just one? There's 3 rows.
There's 3 lines there.
Why aren't you doing all 3 of them? But no, I want to make one of my oblique references to things right now.
Right.
Something that I think you'll get and laugh about. Maybe I'm laughing about it, but like I was saying, the Oreos, the chips, a box of cereal, those are the type of things that, like, once I open them, I just feel the need to eat all of them. I could take the box of cereal, just grab a giant bowl from in the cupboard and pour the whole box of cereal in the bowl to try to eat and find out that maybe I'm out of milk, but whatever, I still poured the cereal out, so I got to eat it. Right. That happens to me sometimes. That's a reference. And all I'm going to say is fuck that dude. Hopefully you get the reference. If not, I'll explain it later. Anyway. So speaking of that meme about the Oreos that you were talking about just a moment ago, what we're about to talk about, what you're about to tell us about, it was inspired by a meme, wasn't it? Isn't that what got you onto this topic?
Yeah, I believe I told you about this before. So yeah,
yes,
so what we're talking about
got you onto this topic, and now I'm interested to hear about this because
yes,
you haven't given me much other than that it's a meme that got you on this.
Okay, so starting this from the top. All right, so everybody's kind of, especially recently, I hate to use this as kind of like a segue because it is somewhat politically motivated, I would say. But in the fact that it's because it's more about people fighting the anti-intellectualism, anti-information movement that's been kind of happening recently in the last couple of years or so. So here's the thing. People share memes. They share memes that fit in with their own personal narrative. Things happen like that all the time. People are getting sick of it. So I saw somebody share a meme, a friend of mine share a meme of a dude that was basically, how do I say this? So it was a picture of a guy. It was like a balding dude with a pair of glasses or something like that. Old picture. I can't remember if it was old black and white because it's been a while. I can't remember if it's old black and white or if it's old, like, muted color, like old type picture.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So what, how do I say this? So what the caption was on top of it was just like, this is the picture of the gentleman who teamed up with Bill Gates to create the COVID vaccine with the 5G or whatever crap. Like they were talking about
whatever the stupid conspiracy.
Yeah, it was. I can't even remember because it was so dumb. But the point that got to me was the bottom of the meme said, "Just kidding. This is a picture of William Mitchell, who invented Tang."
Okay, so
don't believe everything you see in a picture.
Okay, so the meme was fighting against the idea that just because you see a meme shared on social networking that supposedly has a picture of something and has a caption doesn't mean that the caption actually matches the picture. And
exactly.
it's good to still do your research and find out what the caption is before you go sharing it to a bunch of people saying, no, this is real.
Exactly.
Look at the meme, find it amusing, do your research first, and then hell, even you do send friends like, okay, this dude is not really the dude that said this specific thing or was for this specific thing, but still it's kind of funny,
Exactly.
Instead of spreading the disinformation and possible lies as truth. Okay,
exactly.
So this now how does this meme and this dude he was the inventor of Tang, you said?
Yeah, he invented Tang.
So where does this take you? Are you researching memes about food or are you researching Tang?
Well, I decided to Google who invented Tang.
Okay.
So I Google inventor of Tang and William Mitchell's name pops up. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I check this out and I go look up his Wikipedia page and I start reading. And just for the sake of reference, just to let everybody know, I am reading right off his Wikipedia page, straight off what it says on here. And I'm actually pretty dang blown out by everything that's on here. So I'll just read the top line.
I would cite that you're using Wikipedia as a reference as kind of that going back to the whole point of that meme thing. But just so people, and the only reason I say that is because I've actually seen you. I've seen you in debates online on Facebook with people,
yeah,
and you will use Wikipedia as a reference, and they're like, "Oh, so you're using Wikipedia as a reference?" You know that's not a properly sourced reference. And here's the thing, like, just people understand, Wikipedia is actually a pretty properly sourced reference. And if it's, the funny thing is, when there are things on Wikipedia, like on a certain person's page that has been changed as a lie and incorrect, Wikipedia actually notates that that's been on there and announces that this has been put on there and it is incorrect and wrong. And often done for a purpose to try to, especially when it comes to individual people's pages or companies' pages, the point is to try to draw attention to that person, humiliate them in some way, make a joke about them, something like that. And Wikipedia is one of the first to announce that this has happened. So they're very upfront about, if information is incorrect on something, look, somebody put the incorrect information on, this is the real correct information. And that more than anything should inspire you to trust a lexicon of knowledge, is when they have been shown, or when they see that the knowledge is incorrect, they admit that the knowledge is incorrect, give you the correction on the knowledge, as opposed to just letting incorrect continue to be there without anything being done about it.
Exactly. So that's kind of the point that I was getting to with this. That's why I decided to research this. That's why I decided to look it up. And like he said, man, with the whole Wikipedia thing, at least they're citing their actual sources and calling people out because you can edit and you can add information, but after a certain amount of time, actually, if you don't cite the source, they'll post it, but they'll state that the source is required. They're like, this is unverified information.
Yeah.
But somebody posted it that has the capability of editing and they've got a good reputation, so we're going to take it. But you don't take that as straight up source. However, everything I'm looking at here on the entire page is properly sourced to external links. I'm talking patent office stuff, like real legit stuff. So I know this is real. It's real good.
People, think back to your high school English classes. If you graduated high school and took the classes, or your college English class or whatever, and you're writing of an argumentative essay or anything like that, you have to cite your sources, people.
Exactly.
Anyway, moving on. So, William Mitchell, right? This is the guy's name.
William Mitchell is his name. Now, he is not, I will tell you this, he is not the same guy that everybody's pissed off at right now, Billy Mitchell. Billy Mitchell is an entirely different person, even though he went by Bill Mitchell. Billy Mitchell is the guy that everybody knew for the longest time was the King of Kong, but he's a total fraud and he cheated on his record.
Oh, the dude with the Billy Ray Cyrus hair. I can't think of it. The mullet, right?
Yeah.
He's the one that totally cheated on the Donkey Kong games.
Yes.
And got the world record, but didn't really get the world record.
Yep, didn't get it, and then was exposed as a fraud and just got all pissed off and tried to sue people and lost and all this crap. That we are not talking about the same gentleman. This guy's been around for quite a bit longer than that Billy Mitchell.
Just a side note on that, on Billy Mitchell, the Adam Sandler movie Pixels. I don't know if you've seen that one. It's
I've wanted to, but I haven't been able to see it yet.
It's kind of a fun, stupid, silly game, and it's actually, you should watch it because the whole video game connection to it. But there's a character in that movie that I believe is a parody of the King of Kong dude. Got the mullet. He cheats at the video games. Because
oh my god,
they actually, the movie opens up with them doing a old school Donkey Kong tournament, and in fact it ends with a Donkey Kong level that needs to be beaten to defeat the aliens that are invading Earth.
Oh my god!
No, it's actually a very, very stupid, funny movie, but it is great to watch. But he's cheating at the games and whatnot, and even later on, you see him as a kid, and then you see him later as an adult because he's brought in to try to fight off these aliens. He's still cheating at everything, and he's got the mullet and everything. The best part is, in my mind, it's played by one of, I think, the best actors around nowadays. Just in his ability to play amazing characters. And he is so good in this movie because you totally want to hate him because he's such a douchebag. He is. He's a total white trash douchebag. This guy. It would not surprise me if the backstory for his character is that he's got a Kid Rock tattoo on his left butt cheek. Seriously. With Kid Rock laying on like a marble tablet like he's dying, and frickin' Post Malone holding him in kind of a pietà.
Oh, good God.
It's Peter Dinklage that plays the character.
And Peter Dinklage plays the parody of Billy Mitchell.
And he's just he's doing this role, and it's amazing. He's so
such
good
an underhanded
movie.
Fucking.
I mean, I can see they're trying to play they're doing the sizes thing with casting a little person in the part, but like I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at Dinklage is just running wild with this role.
Oh no, yeah, I didn't mean underhanded as far as casting Dinklage. I mean giving Dinklage a character that's based on Billy Mitchell, making him chew scenery, and then also on top of that, making him a known cheater.
And he's just it's beautiful. It's beautiful. He's so good in the movie.
That's fantastic.
I mean, and Adam Sandler does Adam Sandler, and Kevin James does Kevin James, as you would expect.
Yeah.
But Josh Gad is in the movie, and he does a pretty good job. I think it's Josh Gad. Yeah, I think it's Josh Gad.
I don't know who Josh Gad is off the top of my head.
He's because you don't have kids, and you wouldn't know that he's the voice of the snowman in the Frozen movies.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
Cool. Oh,
but anyway,
we're not talking about that Billy Mitchell.
We're talking about another Billy Mitchell. Sorry.
We're talking about another Billy Mitchell. We're talking about William Mitchell. William Mitchell was born in 1911.
So he is the guy that made Tang, though, right? That's coming, right? We're gonna
this is coming up.
Okay.
Yes, William Mitchell did invent Tang, but it was not the first invention he had created, and he has a hell of a history. I'm gonna go through because he was born a long time ago. He was born in 1911. October 1911. He passed away in July 2004. So he's about 92, 93 years old, something like that. So here's the catch. He was an American food chemist. Like that was his thing. Obviously, you think something that ends up being, approved by NASA and all that kind of stuff, and that it's definitely a process type food. Tang is, right? But he was an American food chemist, and he worked for General Foods between 1941 and 1976. And he was the key inventor behind a bunch of different stuff. But during his career, he received over 70 patents of food. But his big catch is just, dude, all right, I'm just going to keep going here. His early life, he was born in Raymond, Minnesota. When he was a teenager, he ran the sugar crystallization tanks at the American Sugar Beet Company and slept 2 hours a night before he would go to school. So he would be working while he was at school. Again, we're looking at the 20s here when he's a teenager, 25, 26. So around that time, you've got a lot of, underage labor going on. But he would go to school of the day and then work the sugar crystallization tanks at night. He eventually graduated high school. He earned an undergraduate degree at Cotner College in Lincoln, Nebraska. And then he ended up graduating with a master's degree in chemistry from the University of Nebraska. So this guy is he's set up, man. He knows all of the things when it comes to food science.
He worked with food, and then he went to school to learn about food and the basic breakdown of food, which is funny. Like some of my favorite food network stars or food stars, that have their cooking shows and whatnot. My favorite ones are the ones that break down the fact that so much of cooking really is science, and people don't realize the science that's involved in, especially something like baking. Baking is full on chemistry, people. People think it's not. It's baking. No, it is full on chemistry. When you are baking something, you are putting precise measurements of different compounds together to create a whole different thing. This is chemistry. This is chemistry at work.
Yep, absolutely, 100%.
Mix things, you apply heat, and you change its form. That is chemistry, people.
That's chemistry. Yep, absolutely.
And so the fact that there's so much science involved in cooking, but most people don't really recognize that is really the basis. So this guy did.
Yeah, absolutely. So, moving on from we just had his degree here. Let's see. He got a research job at an agricultural experiment station in Lincoln. So he was still living in Nebraska. But unfortunately, things took a turn for the worse. There was a lab accident that happened. Now, it's not stating that it was his fault or whose fault it was or anything like that, but a lab accident there ended up leaving him with 2nd and 3rd degree burns over most of his body. So he
did not pleasant.
Yeah, no. But because of that, he moved on to another company. And in 1941, he joined General Foods.
Okay.
Now, the first thing he did when he was working in General Foods, and remember, this is 1941, so this is the height of the Second World War.
Yeah.
Right? So his first major success, I guess, during the Second World War, tapioca, which was used as a food, as a pretty major food supply for soldiers on the front lines, on top of Spam. Which he did not invent Spam. He did not create Spam, but
Spam, the most patriotic
tapioca.
food.
Yep. Apparently tapioca had run out, so he had actually created a tapioca substitute, like a synthesized tapioca substitute.
And tapioca is not just, people think of tapioca and the first thing you think of is pudding, but actually one of the things that tapioca is used for beyond just pudding purposes is it's a thickening agent. For many foods, it's a thickening agent that you can add into things that's has similar effects to what like cornstarch can do to different liquid foods to kind of thicken things up. And it's an important food additive for a lot of different foods. So to come up with a synthesized version of that to be able to use not only for the simple pudding, but also various other purposes that it could be used, and especially for food that had to be canned and tinned to be able to be sent out during the war effort. If this is a substitute for it, that means it probably came in a form that was easily potable, easily storable, and then could be used elsewhere. This could be a big deal. It's just like the fact that the big deal it was because it could be easily canned and contained and had a fairly long shelf life in comparison to many other things, giving it the ability to move around, not be damaged or destroyed or spoiled during the moving, and especially Spam is shelf stable, so it doesn't matter what temperature necessarily it's in. It's good as long as the can is still sealed. So same type of thing. That's important for a war effort. An army marches on its stomach, so that's fantastic. So wait, does that mean? Hold on. Does that mean that we add his tapioca substitute to our list of the most patriotic foods? Is that, because this is an American who invented this and it helped the war effort. It's food used by the soldiers during the war effort in World War II. We should add this. This should be part of the July 4th meal planning, is his tapioca substitute. I'm going to have to research this. I'm going to have to figure out.
Yeah. I wonder if we can still get our hands on it. I bet you could probably find it at like Surplus or something like that. I'm sure they still make it.
If possible, we need to find out so that we can add this to somehow figure out how to add this in with whatever application to our Spam for July 4th. Because Spam is necessary on July 4th. It is the most patriotic American food.
Agreed. So because of this, now this was in response, apparently, I guess, I don't know, I think it's a fruit or a plant. Have you ever heard of cassava?
It's cassava. Yeah.
It is cassava. Okay.
Cassava root is what creates tapioca. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So that apparently cassava root had been running out, so he had created this synthesized tapioca. and they called it Mitchell mud in the infantry.
I think cassava root is something that is mainly found, at least at that time, it was mainly found in Southeast Asia, which would make it understood why supply routes and supply chains weren't getting it to the United States during
right. Okay.
There was a giant ocean that a war was being fought over.
Mm-hmm.
And so supply ships back and forth really wasn't happening during that time period. Because,
yeah, of course.
One navy and another navy. Pew, 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 pew. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. All the pew pew was happening, so no cassava.
Yes.
So, all right. So moving on, that was his first major accomplishment with General Foods. However, in the next 15 years afterwards, he created something else that I'm quite sure that you may be very familiar with. So,
you don't know.
So the year is 1956.
I wasn't around then. Why would I be familiar with it?
Well, you might be, because he was attempting to create a substance that was basically, he was trying to create an instantly self-carbonating soda. And that was the purpose. Now, if you were to think of what you would use deductive reasoning here, what kind of substance would you use to create an instantly self-carbonating soda? You would have to have a dehydrated product that carbonated when you put it into liquid.
I mean, that would be one way to do it. Another way would be to have something in the container that could inject the bubbles and stuff into it. But oh shit, I know what you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking about.
You think so?
I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about.
I'm going to give you room.
No, I've heard this story before. Mm-hmm. Yes, I know exactly what it is. It's Pop Rocks, isn't it?
Yep.
Holy shit, it is. Yes, I've heard the story about it being made to be like a carbonated drink beverage, but it didn't quite work for that. So then it became a candy thing. And then the kid who likes Life cereal ate it and died. That didn't happen. That's an urban myth. That part's an urban myth.
That is an urban myth. Actually, funny
enough,
I'm
still alive right now. You're still alive. You're the kid that
I'm totally yes.
For anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, we had a cereal episode at one point or another, and I found it to be the most amusing thing, at least at that moment, that day, in the world that day, the most amusing thing that I had heard that had happened was to find out that Mike, the guy, the other kid, who could possibly be called Mikey by somebody trying to give him a cute little nickname, his favorite cereal was Life cereal. And to find that, I'm like, dude, Mikey, Life cereal? Are you serious?
I love the hell out of my Life cereal, by the way, to be real.
I mean, it's okay.
So that being said, just to continue here, get this. So you're right. The invention was Pop Rocks, and I'm looking on Pop Rocks' Wikipedia page right now, and it actually has the urban legends about Pop Rocks, like Pop Rocks and soda killing you. And it does mention Little Mikey. The guy's name the actual guy's name. His name was John Gilchrist.
Okay.
Who played Little Mikey in the Life commercials. But so that's actually meant it got so big that it's on their Wikipedia page as well, listed as an urban legend.
They used to have like an 800 number that you could call what the parents would freak out or something about it too.
That's great.
And get information.
Dude, get this shit. Speaking of Pop Rocks, I wanted to mention this.
Hold on. Okay, go ahead. And then I have a question for you about Pop Rocks after.
Okay, so one of the first episodes of Mythbusters, actually in the very first episode of Mythbusters, they went after the Pop Rocks and soda fiasco. Yeah. And they actually had the vice president of Pop Rocks Incorporated explain the candy and what the myth was and all this kind of stuff. Adam Savage, he ended up having Pop Rocks and soda just to prove that it wasn't real. However, what they did do was pretty dope, because what they did was they mixed 6 packs of Pop Rocks and a 6-pack of Coca-Cola inside of a pig's stomach.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
complete with enough hydrochloric acid to simulate the acid inside of a human stomach. So they used a pig stomach to simulate, and now the stomach did not explode. So that's a thing that won't happen. Yeah. However, it did grow to 3 times its size.
I don't remember that part of the episode. Wow.
The stomach stretched to 3 times its size, but it did not explode.
Now, what's funny about that to me is like there was this whole scare of the Pop Rocks with the soda. It was a thing, especially when we were growing up. It was still considered a thing. It happened before we were growing up, but like everybody talked about it still when we were growing up. But like now we have the whole Mentos and Diet Coke thing, where like it really does basically.
Oh, that shit'll blow up. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, was that foreshadowing? Was it some prognosticator that just got the candy wrong? You know what I'm saying? Maybe, like some half-ass Nostradamus or some shit.
I was going to say somebody was a prophet.
You know what I mean? Well, somebody was trying to make a profit, but that's a whole different story. Movie reference.
Shit, man. So, get this little tidbit of info here.
I like
Pop Rocks were not actually sold on the market until 1975.
Well, yeah, you had to make sure people didn't blow up.
15 years of research making sure people didn't blow up first.
Yeah, I'm sure like the first week he created them, he gave them to a bunch of like his lab assistants and stuff.
Yeah.
And then he just watched them for 15 years. Like, okay, it's been 15 years.
No, I'm sorry, not 15. I apologize. 19. They were sold in 75, but they were created in 56, and the patent was received for them in 1961.
So like he got the finally after watching these people for years and they hadn't blown up yet. It's like, okay, we're good. Let's see. Let's give it a little more time. I'm still not sure if they might blow up. So just keep it going for a little longer. So it's been 19 years. Nobody's going to blow up. And then suddenly, Mikey blew up. What? 19 years and nobody blew up. Now somebody blows up?
Yep.
Jesus. Sorry.
Just have to find one. Kid Rock. Nice touch. I like that one. That was good.
Thank you. I try.
Okay, so continuing on here. So the next year after he created Pop Rocks on accident, he invented what we all know, Tang. It was a powdered, fruit-flavored, vitamin-enhanced drink.
So the Pop Rock, I just want to focus real quick on the fact that Pop Rocks is basically by accident.
Yeah.
Now, when I have an accident, I have to pay a bigger insurance premium. This dude has an accident. He creates frickin' Pop Rocks.
Yeah, I know. Life turned out well for this guy. Well, although we will say that most of his body was burned severely before he ended up, getting.
And you said, hold on. He got burned in a lab accident, right?
Yeah. Oh my God! Wait a minute,
dude. You know what happens, right? You know what happens when something happens to you in a lab accident, right?
What?
You become a mutant. This was his mutant ability.
His mutant power was creating Pop Rocks?
Well, I mean, you got Pop Rocks
or just inventing a bunch of shit.
You got Pop Rocks, you got Tang, you got a freaking substitute for tapioca. I mean, this guy's already got it's like I'm going to take and make awesome food possibilities in like powdered form. Maybe that's what he does.
That's amazing.
Are there more powdered food things? Because if that's the case, I'm right. I am right. He was a mutant. He should have been part of the X-Men. He could have hung out at Xavier's mansion, making all kinds of cool food stuff for them to take with them on their various missions that they had to go on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Oh my God. Okay, and all right. So moving on to the next year from when he invented Pop Rocks, 1957, he invented Tang, which everybody kind of knows that. That's where this whole thing started.
Yes, Tang. It's what the astronauts drink.
Yep. And they started drinking it in 1962, using it in their space program and stuff. And then there's another thing that's really cool.
By the way,
first, I'm going to tell you about the thing that's not as cool first.
Okay.
Wait. So he received 70 patents in total during his career.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And so what he ended up doing was Okay, there were two more things I've got to mention. So now back in, I want to say like the 20s, powdered eggs were already invented. However, powdered egg whites were not. So it's, I don't know if that's a major, like, I guess he's behind powdered egg whites. And the only thing I could find is on powdered eggs themselves.
Well, I mean, powdered egg whites would have less calories and less cholesterol. They could be healthier for you. Or also, okay, no. This actually goes into the same kind of thing that maybe the tapioca substitute can be used for. Powdered egg whites could possibly be used, reconstituted and used for things that require egg whites, like meringue, or different like frosting applications where you specifically need egg whites to be able to do it. Like for a meringue, you need egg whites to whip up the egg whites to create the meringue. So that's still within the same genre of what he's doing. He's taking and making powdered versions of things. See, I told you he's a mutant. And a good one. Call it Dr. Powdered Stuff.
Dr. Yeah, he pretty much, like, it's all, but well, technically, the last thing he created was not powdered. But it is quite the staple.
So he broke from tradition. He broke from tradition. Fine.
He did break from tradition. However, he did create another major food staple.
It better be something freaking good to break from tradition like that.
You know what? I think it is.
Stay in your wheelhouse, man. Stay in your wheelhouse. What do? You make powdered things that are amazing. That's what you do. So what are you going to make that's not powdered that's amazing? It better be something amazing.
Well, you know how we were talking about pumpkins earlier, right? Squashes, pumpkin pie, that kind of thing, right?
Okay. He made a new type of gourd. He made a he invented spiralizers.
No, close. All right. So
spiralizers.
So this one took a little while, but in 1967, or like he said, 70 patents. So he was making stuff left and right.
Okay.
But this is probably one of the most noticeable ones. This gentleman introduced Cool Whip.
Cool Whip?
Which became the largest and most profitable line in its division extremely quickly.
Like Cool Whip.
Like Cool Whip.
Seriously.
This motherfucker invented Cool Whip, Pop Rocks, and Tang.
I can figure out a way to combine those. That could work.
Oh my God. We'll call it the Mitchell. Whatever it is. Can you combine it with the tapioca though?
I might be able to, and it'll thicken up nicely. I'm just thinking I mean, it's still the food industry and whatnot to be able to get that to set up in the way that it does, and it makes sense really, because his job was food chemistry, creating ways to make foods take on different forms and stay in those forms. So it still works. It's still, I guess, within the wheelhouse. Damn, this is normally you get guys that, like, they make one thing. You know, they have their one major thing that's like, this is what I have made. This is what I am known for. This guy's a less creepy, weird, sexually depraved version of Kellogg.
Kind of, yeah.
I mean, to throw back to previous podcasts of ours. I mean, this guy, like, Kellogg was all kinds of things wrong with him, and he thought everybody else had all the things wrong with them, and so he came up with a bunch of food things to try to stop people from pulling on their butts.
Wait a minute. Isn't General Foods like Kellogg's direct competitor?
So we're looking at okay. The question is,
light side, dark side food shit right here.
Yeah, the question is, who's the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants and who's the X-Men? Which one is which? I mean, seriously here.
Well, you got one.
Well, hold on. I'm thinking that Kellogg's got to be the X-Men, even though you're thinking, how could he be? But, like, he had his own, like, you know, special building, and, you know, the sanitarium, you know, it was like it's his own thing, kind of like.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just saying.
No. You're onto something.
And so, wow. Okay, you know what we need to bring back? Holy crap!
What?
Then they need to bring back. Somebody needs to bring back. Somebody needs to bring back Celebrity Deathmatch, or if not, let's just do the historical rap battles. Either one of them. Historical rap battle: Kellogg versus Mitchell. That needs to happen.
Dude. Okay.
To happen.
I think that would, dude, I'm going to pitch it. I'm going to pitch it on their YouTube page.
Yes. I think that needs to happen. Because that's hilarious. That's just, I mean, wow.
Dude, that sounds amazing.
This dude, I mean, when you're eating Pop Rocks, you don't think it's the same dude that would have made Tang, and maybe Tang, because Tang makes sense. Okay, they got fruity flavors and whatnot, but like Cool Whip, that's like curveball, but it like still fits within everything. That's amazing. He has made the dream of so many people come true, that especially people that are sensitive to dairy, because if I'm correct, Cool Whip is non-dairy, right?
Yes, Cool Whip is non-dairy.
So Cool Whip is what's necessary for any of those who can't deal with dairy products. They don't get to have whipped cream; they get their Cool Whip instead.
Yeah.
Holy crap,
dude! This is so sick. I love it. I love the idea.
I can't wait to talk to the wife about this, because of course she doesn't listen to the podcast, which is kind of funny. I told her that today that we were going to be talking about her Christmas present and what she got for Christmas on the podcast, and she's like, "Why would you do that?" And I'm like, "Because I've already mentioned that you were getting a big Christmas present on the podcast. I mentioned it before." She goes, "So I would have known it was happening if I had listened to the podcast." Well, not exactly what you were getting, but that you were getting some kind of a present. So all I need to do is listen to the podcast. Yes, that's all you need to do is support me and listen to it. Anyway, sorry, give me a few demons out right there.
Okay, you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. She'll never hear.
All right,
that.
man.
Tell her about the joke anyway. But anyway, she's gonna love hearing about this dude, because she likes Pop Rocks and she likes Cool Whip. I don't know if she's ever had Tang. Have you ever had Tang? Do you remember having it at all?
Of course, I've had Tang. I love Tang. Tang is amazing. Tang is one of those things you kind of forget about for a long period of time, and then you just walk by into the grocery store. You're like, let's get some fucking Tang, and you go get Tang.
I can see that. I had the same experience with Ovaltine. My grandmother used to all the time, and it's, for anybody who doesn't know it, it's reminiscent of chocolate, but it is so not chocolate.
Yeah,
but like it's Ovaltine. It's its own special different thing.
Yeah, it's not Nestle Quick. It is not the same thing. It doesn't taste the same. The texture is different. Everything about it's different.
Does it bother you that Nestle, that Strawberry Quick doesn't actually really taste like strawberries? It just tastes like pink. Does that bother you?
Like, it tastes like what's left over when you leave Fruity Pebbles in milk for too long.
No.
I get that taste out of it.
And like, if you just eat the powder itself, it's really weird, but it's so good. Yes.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yes. Just the powder itself.
I wonder if they use actual strawberries in Strawberry Quick.
No, I'm pretty sure they don't. And by the way, for anybody who's wondering about the freakiness of eating just Strawberry Quick powder itself, the warning signs were there that eventually I would get to this size and have the health problems that I do. The warning signs were there. I just ignored them. But anyway, this is interesting, dude. This guy's a cool guy, and the fact that it was a meme and your desire to try to find out, is this really telling the truth at the bottom of this meme? You like the meme because it's like, haha, this guy is this conspiracy theory. Not really. You should read your memes better and do your research. And you were like, okay, I'm going to do my research. And then you do the research, like, I like this dude. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's why I like to. I mean, this is good that you're doing this, and it's good for you to share it, so that we can encourage people to use these tools that are at our fingertips to gain more knowledge. Don't just accept everything that people are telling you, but also don't refuse to listen to what people are telling you. Find proper sources, legitimate sources. Find the information. Become more intelligent. Being smarter is not a bad thing. Trust me. We want smarter people around. Yes. We really, really do. It's good to have smarter people around. But that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Hopefully you've taught people something. Hopefully next time people are eating some Pop Rocks, they'll think about this. You can still buy Pop Rocks, can't you?
Oh yeah, Pop Rocks are still on the market.
I think so. It's been a while since I've had any. They had bubblegum flavored ones at one point. Oh, sucker for anything bubblegum flavored. You'd think they'd have a soda flavored one since it's supposed to emulate soda, but They really missed the boat on that one. Anyway, well, I don't know. How do you think we did? Our first one back in a couple of weeks. We had a couple of interesting up and down variables, but I think it turned out good. Yeah, you agree?
I think so. Yeah, I do.
I
Very
hope
much.
people listening think it is, and if they're listening to us.
I'm sorry. What was that?
I said, if they're listening, where are they listening to us? Or am I doing this too soon? Are you?
No, not at all. Not at all. No. You cut out for a minute. I didn't hear you.
There was no more. There was no more on Mr. Mitchell, right? We're good.
No more on Mr. Mitchell. That was it.
Fantastic. I was worried I was jumping the gun. I'm out of practice.
No, not at all.
Weeks. You know, it's like when it's been a little while since you had sex and like it doesn't last very long. Do you not have that problem?
We're working all the kinks out again, man.
I don't have that problem. Oh wait, we're working out the kinks. Oh yeah, I like it. Anyway, so Mike, where are people listening to us and becoming horrified even more by the second?
Well, you could be listening to us at the XennialChronicles.com or Zencron.com if you don't want to type that much. XenChron. Speaking of Zencron, you could find us on a bunch of the social stuff. We're on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We are on Instagram. Are we?
No, because I'm stupid and don't know how to use it.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll figure that out. But we are also on a lot of the other major podcast websites. You can find us on Apple. You can find us on Google, I believe. You can find us on TuneIn. You could find us on, I can't think of the other ones right now. There was another one. Spotify. Thank you. I always, you know what it is, man? I want to listen to Spotify. I have a desire, but I don't really do that because I keep all my computer music at home. So I never think of Spotify. I never think to open it up. But yeah, it's why I always miss it every single week. I feel like I miss it every week, but oh well. But anyways, we are also on Spotify. And yeah, you also can listen to us on YouTube as well. And you might be listening to us on YouTube right now.
Yeah.
You very well could. If you are, please make sure that you leave a comment, hit the like button, and make sure that you subscribe as well, because next week we'll have another episode. And if we don't, we'll have a video telling you that we don't have an episode. We'll always be providing content weekly on our YouTube page. And we want to get our subscriptions up, and we want to make sure that you know when we're putting out episodes. So that means when you do subscribe, James, what do they do?
Click the bell.
Yes. Click the bell to make sure that you're notified so that you know when we put up an episode. We'll be putting up every Thursday. And I believe that is all I have to say.
Yeah. By the way, I just want to note, this episode contained, I believe, 2 movie references. Mm-hmm. I would love it if people could figure out the movie references and be able to leave comments about them.
Yeah, leave them in the comment section.
I had another idea about a movie reference, and it was like some weird fever dream of a conversation that happened, and I did the movie reference in the conversation. But it was like I don't know. Maybe I'm drinking too much water right now. It's the kale.
Water.
Anyway, while you're there on YouTube, trying to figure out the movie references and leaving comments and whatnot, also go and check out Mike's other 2 pages. He's got 2 other things going on. He has his music page, Rolling Note Music, and then he also has a video game page that he does with his wife. They're Mike badly playing video games is, I believe, the whole premise of the situation. And one is Chronicles Games.
Yes, Chronicles Games.
Isn't that the whole point of it? Is a video game and you suck terribly at it, and everybody gets to laugh at you. Isn't that the whole point?
Oh yeah, that's exactly it.
Oh,
that's pretty much what we do. Yeah.
Apparently, they're also supposed to be playing the games in the chronological order of the story, not necessarily the order that the games came out in. But really, do we care about that? No. We just want to laugh at the ineptness of Mike trying to play video games.
True.
So, but that's it. Check those out too. Subscribe to those. Click the bells on those. Just more content, more stuff to get us through what is still another year of crazy, and hopefully we'll see the light at the end of the tunnel, and hopefully it's not a train. There you go. Music reference.
Nice. That's another one.
I think that's it for us for this week. Enjoy your Pop Rocks and soda, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Y'all have a good one.
Thank you for tuning in, friends. The journey continues next week.